We just learned that Nassau County's District Attorney is now investigating some inconsistencies in Congressman-elect George Santos's resume. It comes as Santos faces scrutiny from some Republicans after admitting he, quote, embellished some of the details of his resume. In a statement, the chair of the Nassau County Republican Committee accused Santos of breaking the public's trust. And fellow New York Congressman-elect Nick LaLota is calling on the House Ethics Committee to investigate Santos. Meanwhile, Republican leadership, including Kevin McCarthy, whom Santos has backed to be House Speaker, has remained silent on the controversy. In a series of interviews earlier this week, Santos acknowledged that he never graduated college or worked at two major Wall Street firms, as he had claimed, but he insists he's never broken the law. NBC News has reached out to George Santos, but has not received a response. For more, I'm joined by Stephanie Schriock, Democratic strategist and former president of Emily's List. Also with me is Stephen Hayes, editor and CEO of The Dispatch and an NBC News contributor. Thanks to both of you for being here. Stephen, let me start with you. Let me read a little bit of what we heard from Republican Congressman Nick LaLota of New York. Here's what he said in a statement. He says, quote, as a Navy man who campaigned on restoring accountability and integrity to our government, I believe a full investigation by the House Ethics Committee and, if necessary, law enforcement is required. Is that something you expect will happen? And are you surprised that you're not hearing from Republican leadership on this?
I don't expect that will happen, and I'm not at all surprised that we're not hearing from Republican leadership on this. Look, this is a party led by Kevin McCarthy in the House of Representatives that is welcoming Marjorie Taylor Greene into sort of a circle of influential leadership. Kevin McCarthy, a week after Marjorie Taylor Greene, effectively said that if there were another insurrection, it would be better armed, and she would have led the process better. Not only did he not denounce that, he touted her support in his race for the speakership. He cares about becoming speaker. Anything that's a distraction from that, I think, is something that we wouldn't expect to hear from Kevin McCarthy on. These are lies. They're clear lies. It's obvious to everybody. Unfortunately, I think that Santos feels like the sort of modern 21st century member of Congress, and that's unfair to the good members of Congress and people who tell the truth. But this is where we are.
Yeah, Stephanie, what is your take on this? And I guess we've seen a number of Democrats pounce and say he should resign, he shouldn't serve. He's been absolutely defiant. He says he's going to be sworn in. He hasn't done anything fundamentally wrong. Do you think that overall, though, this could be a distraction for just governing?
I do. And it's just another sign of Republicans who are just not being held accountable at all by the leadership of their party. And it is a disgrace, a complete disgrace. This man has completely lied. He should not even be sworn in. He should bail out now. And if sworn in, they should start an investigation immediately and they should expel him. But do we think this is really going to happen? No. No. And it's definitely not. Nothing's going to happen before, because McCarthy needs the vote. Because
you're right about that. Yeah.
So let's just face that truth.
If you look at the math, he does need the votes. That is for sure. Stephen, I guess the question here for Santos, and I'm so curious to see this play out, can he ultimately be an effective member of Congress? Will he be seated on committees? I mean, these are among some of the open questions that I think a lot of people have.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right, Kristen. And these are things that we'll learn in the coming days and weeks. But if past is precedent here, the right thing for him to do is to resign, and the right thing for House Republicans to do is not invite him into their conference and ultimately not seat him. But if past is precedent here, the thing for him to do, if he wants to be a member of Congress, is just stick to it. Just fight it. Fight it at every turn, right? I mean, it's not like lying is new in Congress. Lying is new in politics. We have Joe Biden's lied. Santos has been using that argument. I think he's right to criticize Joe Biden, but it doesn't excuse the lies that he's been telling, and the extent of the deception in his campaign is extraordinary. Truly something I think that we have not seen in recent memory. I can't remember it, and I'm pretty old.
Stephanie, your response to what we just heard from Stephen before we move on to our next topic.
I mean, I agree. He should resign immediately, but I don't think he will. I think the put your head down and fight through it is a working strategy right now. And particularly, no offense to our wonderful news environment that I'm sitting on at the moment, but this is going to go away relatively quickly, I have a feeling, and we'll be focused on something else. And we're going to have Republican leadership that's not going to hold anybody accountable. They haven't for January 6th. Why would they do it now?
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.